Hello there ladies and gentlemen, Paul TX141 Walsh here, welcoming you to a rather special Call of Duty Modern Warfare video. As some of you may be aware, the game contains a Battle Royale game mode called Warzone. This mode sees approximately 150 players pitched against one another on a large scale map, with the goal being to be the last individual standing. This mode may be played alone, i.e. solos, or as a squad of 2 to 4 players, known respectively as duos, trios and quads. Having had a lot of fun playing duos, trios and quads with my friends, I recently decided to play a couple of games of solos just to change up the pace. In the process, I picked up my first solos win. To celebrate, I thought I'd put together this video to both showcase the gameplay and also provide you with some insights into my thought processes that led to the win. Rather than talk over the gameplay, I shall pause the gameplay at certain moments to provide my insights before resuming. With that, enjoy the video. In picking a drop point in solos, I normally like to drop where there are a large number of recon contracts. Reason being, these contracts provide me with decent cash, but more importantly, information as to how the Warzone will shrink over the course of the game. This forward information enables me to plan my movements in advance and make sure I keep inside the Warzone. In this game, airports seem to be a recon-rich environment. With respect to landing, my focus is to find a weapon and begin to clear my immediate vicinity of enemies. Once done, I can switch my focus to the recon contract and taking out opponents en route if needed.
Battle Royale. Gas is approaching your position. Move to the safe zone. Does anyone need this? Eliminate all targets in the AO. Enemy dropping into the AO. Move to the next area and secure the perimeter. Enemy UAV overhead. Recon intel secured. Solid work. Win here and you return to the front line. You lose, your fight is over.
A bit of an unfortunate death, as I could hear my opponent's footsteps. I just made the mistake of thinking they were below me rather than above. Not to worry, time to fight for a second chance in the Gulag with a weapon I like, the M14 EBR.
Earn your way out. You showed them no mercy. Stand by for redeployment.
In respawning, I was originally planning to drop on military base for the recon contract. However, as you will see, en route my bloodlust takes over and I decide to follow another recently respawned opponent down. Funnily enough, this leads me to dropping back close to where I recently perished at the airport. Again, upon landing, the same focus as before applies. Clear the vicinity and then get to work on recon contracts where possible.
Does anyone need this? Contact!
Objective is to eliminate the bounty target. The bounty target is down. Well done. Enemy UAV overhead. Enemy UAV overhead. Enemy UAV overhead. Hostile dropping into the area. Watch the skies. Enemy UAV overhead. Got the drop bag inbound. Gas is closing in. Relocating the safe zone. Move to the next area and secure the perimeter. You're losing ground. Primary objective accomplished. Recon intel secured. Move to the next area and secure the perimeter.
Things are about to heat up, as whilst I'm making my way to complete another recon contract, a bounty contract gets placed on me. Given I know the layout of airport relatively well, I cautiously make my way inside the airport to the second floor and back myself into a corner where there are only two routes of approach for my hunter. In doing this, I hope to even out the circumstances through which my hunter and I engage one another rather than allow them to catch me unawares. However, as you're going to see, things do not work out for my hunter and almost go horribly wrong for me when a third party decides to get involved. Fortunately, the close range power of the PP-19 Bison and some well placed headshots enable me to emerge on top.
Be advised, there's an enemy team hunting for you. Gas is inbound. Marking new safe zone. Contract complete. Recon intel secured. Move to the next area and secure the perimeter. Recon intel secured. Solid work. Bounty target has been marked. Kill them. Gas is inbound. The bounty target is down. Well done.
I must admit, I was rather fortunate with how the final recon contract in that series of contracts played out in terms of where the recon secure point was, however that can happen from time to time. Now loaded with information and money, it was time to visit the buy station with the intention of buying, firstly, a pair of UAVs, one to immediately check whether any opponents not running Ghost are within 150 metres of myself, the other to do the same later on in the match. Secondly, a self-revive to enable me to get back up should I get taken out, but able to get to cover, particularly useful for long-range engagements. And thirdly, a loadout drop, to enable me to get my loadout which contains the perks and equipment I need to survive into the late game. In particular, the Ghost perk, which I mentioned earlier, this will hide me from UAVs and heartbeat sensors, and a smoke grenade. Speaking of that smoke grenade, it is immediately going to come into use as I get ambushed by a sniper whilst I'm grabbing my loadout. I use the smoke grenade to break away from my assailant and start making my way back into the basement of the airport. However, things only go from bad to worse when I bump into another, well-entrenched opponent who is waiting for individuals to come into their line of sight in the basement. Here, I'm grateful for having the spotter perk as taken from my loadout, which saves me from running right into a proximity mine. In the end, I decide to run for it, find a safe location, and let some time pass given I know how the Warzone is going to shrink thanks to the recon contracts from earlier.
Got the drop back inbound.
Request recon flyover!
This is Falcon 3-0. Good copy. UAV beginning flyover. UAV is out of fuel. Returning to resupply.
Request recon flyover!
This is Falcon 3-0. Good copy. UAV beginning flyover. UAV is out of fuel. Returning to resupply. got gas inbound. Safe zone relocated.
In looking at the minimap, I decided that I would enter the final war zone via the Spaghetti Junction on the northeast side of the war zone. Reason being, the junction's structures, either support pillars, and the gradual increase in gradient of the terrain as I got closer to the war zone would conceal my approach and naturally provide me with cover if I were to be engaged from the direction of the final war zone. However, it is not all peaceful as I make my way to the final war zone, as I just so happened to bump into the individual who I believe was entrenched in the basement of the airport earlier. I decided not to pursue this engagement as I felt my opponent would, much like earlier on, be well prepared if I decided to push them. Instead, I eventually decided to disengage and focus on moving towards the final war zone.
Got a drop bag inbound. Gas is moving. Only 10 are left. Enemy UAV overhead.
With the engagement ranges now moving out to longer distances given the open nature of the final war zone on the hilly terrain, I decided to loot the bodies of fallen opponents with the aim of finding an assault rifle optimised for longer range engagements. Whilst I like the SCAR, I have found it is more suited to close to medium range. Fortunately, I was able to find an M4A1 configured for just this purpose. However, to my joy, I was also able to find a riot shield, which would be highly advantageous given I would be playing the edge of the circle, meaning all gunfire could only come from in front of me and I would be able to block it with said shield, much to the frustration of my opponents. Moreover, I felt that the riot shield would work well in the final 3 scenario, whereby if I could distract one of my 2 remaining opponents by having them shoot my shield, the other opponent could take out the first individual. In the process of the 2 opponents fighting one another, I could set myself up to take out the remaining opponent and be the last man standing. And that is exactly how it plays out here.
You've got gas inbound. Safe zone relocated. Only 5 remain. Finish your mission. Gas is closing. Get to the new safe zone. Gas is inbound. You made it through and took the win. Well done.
With that, thank you for watching. If you have enjoyed this video, feel free to let me know via a like, comment or subscribing to the channel. But until next time, as always ladies and gentlemen, stay safe, stay smiling and stay awesome.